Let me teach you how to cut this short undercut haircut. I'm going to do a step-by-step tutorial to teach you. So first of all, we're taking our back sections, and this is where we dampen the hair and we'll wash it already. I'm cutting a doll's head, so bear with. I'm left-handed, so everything you do is pretty much the opposite. We want knuckles to neck, okay? That is the main key. You go in, I'm keeping my fingers just off the head, but my knuckles are still touching the neck. Can you see my guide? That's what I'm cutting my section to keep that nice and short, okay? So my knuckles are to my neck, I'm cutting my guide. If you want longer at the back, you just angle your fingers down towards the floor a little bit more. So the higher up the graduation, the shorter the cut, the lower the graduation, the lower it is. And this is my first section that's starting off, cutting my short graduation at the back, okay? So I'm constantly cross-checking. So I'm pulling this horizontal ways to check my guide. So this is how I'm cross-checking to make sure my sections are nice and even. So you can literally go vertical or horizontal to check that you're following the guide. If you can't see your guide, your sections are too big. You need to make sure that no matter where you're cutting, see that corner that I've got there? You need to just make sure that your guide is nice and clear. If not, go back a step. It's not a problem. Literally just go back a step. This was me trying to cut it without blocking the camera. So this is what you call short graduation. Sorry that my elbow is literally in the way, but this is short graduation, okay? I'll let you, and that's me pulling it down so I can cross-check. So I'm going to take my neck sections.
So it depends on if you're doing 1 day a week.
It was really hard because this doll's head had so many layers, so trying to get a straight line was honestly a nightmare. Damp my section down, and then go straight across to my other side. Don't come for me for my nails, man. The fucking comments last time about how gross my nails were, leave me be with my long claws, okay? So again, I'm trying to clip it out the way. And this is what's going to give me my nice clear guide on my next section, okay? So I'm going to dampen the hair down. Make sure all the knots are out and you're holding it at the same angle, knuckles to neck. Can you see my guide? So just where my fingers are, I'm cutting straight across. And again, take your small section. If you can't see your guide, see my guide there? That's what I'm following. And you see straight away that if your haircut is not sitting well when it's wet, there's something wrong. So if you can see some lines or some bulky bits, there's something wrong. But can you see here that each time I cut my section, it's blended in, it just melts in. So I'm following the same method, knuckles to neck the whole way through. Now I'm cross-checking, so I'm going long ways. And can you see I've gone a bit longer on that? So I'm just coming in straight across. There's my guide, just to even that out. So me going horizontal with this, we'll see my clear guide that I can make sure that everything is nice and even. And can you see that when it's wet, it's still sitting nice when it's dry? So if there's any bulky bits, go back through because it means your angle just slightly off. So again, knuckles to neck, I'm just following my guideline. My fingers are in the way a little bit here, but I'm following the same method all the way through. I hope this is making sense. If it's not making sense, comment and I'll do what I can to like help make it make sense, okay?
So I'm like the highest person that spends money on bar.
Yeah.
Last quarter I made, or the quarter before this one, I made 1.4 on bar.
Really?
Yeah, and this time I made about 1.2, I think it is.
Nice. Do you get commission?
No,
You don't?
no, but they're increasing my hours because I make so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made £1,195.
So I'm pulling it down and just cross-checking just to make sure that it's even. You should do this the whole way through, just to make sure your haircut is really balanced. So obviously I felt that one side was slightly longer, so I went back over and I just had a little corner that I needed to take off. So I'm just following that round and then I'm going to move on to my next section.
I'm like the top cocktail seller at work.
That's
I
so
sell
good.
the most on bar.
That's
And
so
me
good.
and another colleague are the top people for reviews as well now.
Oh really? Mate, my views had like 100. You know the one I done for you? It's got like 150 people clicked on it to like read it.
Yeah. Like it's like they pressure it so much. I just can't wait to not have to worry about making money on bar and
Yeah.
reviews and making customers happy.
So now I've soaked the hair down and I'm going to follow my guide again. This is me trying to make sure that my angle was actually in there. So I'm following the guide through. I'll have a nice clean section. So see, I've got nice tension, pulling it down. My finger's just in the way, but it's literally level with my fingers. You should be able to see it on this one because my finger was in the way in the first one. So again, nice tension, clean sections. Note, my finger's still in the way. Oh no, look, there you go, I move it. So you can see that that's my guide. And so can you see straight away how well the hair's sitting the second I cut that section because it's right. Again, pulling my section up, checking my guide, keeping that nice and straight, nice clean sections is really important. And again, you'll be able to see the guide. It's literally level with my fingers. And straight away you can see how well that back section's sitting, and I'm going to copy that on the other side. Again, go horizontal just to make sure you see that little corner that I've got, and that's called cross-checking. So you're just cross-checking that back bit. So this is classed as a short haircut at the back. So we're going up, and obviously if you want your haircut to be longer at the back, just hold your fingers a little bit lower. So I'm still keeping my knuckles to the neck, and I'm just following my guide all the way through just to make sure it's nice and tidy. Make sure the hair's nice and damp. It makes it a lot easier to cut each section.
If not, check the work phone. Absolutely. It's undercut. Looks like the back looks blended, but the side that's undercut. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm copying that picture.
Yeah, it starts off like.
Make sure you keep cross-checking your section by pulling 2 sections down, moving that hair about just to make sure it's sitting really well. So now we're going to move on to our side. So this haircut is going to be undercut on both sides. So then the top hair can sit over. If you've got really fine hair, you won't be able to undercut it. I would just ignore the undercut bit and go straight for the shorter haircut. So I'm sectioning my section off, and then you'll see me following my guide and cutting it really short by the ear, knuckles to neck. That is the main key, okay? So now coming round to the ear, this doll has super small ears. We are cutting completely around the ear. I needed to tighten my scissors then. So if your hair folds, a lot of the time your scissors need a little bit of tightening. So I'm cutting the hair nice and short, keeping it quite close to the ear because I want to cut it around the ear. You'll see me cut around the ear in a second. I'm taking super small, super little sections, and this is going to be our undercut. So you'll be able to see why we undercut it more near the end. And if you wanted to go onto a normal short haircut, I've got a second video to show you a uniform layout short haircut. But this is more of an edgier haircut, I'd say, where it's longer on top and then shorter underneath. See my guide, because I'm going horizontal again. So I'm going straight over, checking my guide, ignore she's got half bits of highlights and not, following my guide, keeping my sections nice and neat. Going straight across and then cross-checking, and then I'm gonna freehand and cut around her teeny little ear. Don't think I've ever seen an ear so small. Actually, my best friend has a really small ear, so it might be on par with her teeny weeny ear. So now we're just cutting around the ear just to make sure that it's nice and neat, nice and tidy. And she ain't got to worry about it. I like my hair nice and short, so I'll cut around the ear just to keep it nice and tidy. So we're now gonna copy that. I'm just connecting my back corner, just taking that in a little bit shorter just to make sure that's neat. And then I'm gonna copy that and do the exact same thing on the other side. No, I'm not. I'm going to go do my next section straight up first, and then I'm going to repeat it. So I'm going to dampen the hair down, follow my guides again. If you can't find your guide, you need to go back a section. And again, practice this on your doll's head. You don't have to practice on a client and absolutely shit yourself. You can literally practice this on a doll's head. I'm making sure that I'm following my previous guide to see my guides there, and I'm going straight across. And again, taking really small sections. And can you see how clear my guide is there? That's what I'm cutting straight across. And again, if your client has really fine hair, I wouldn't recommend this haircut because you'd need a lot of hair like this doll to be able to have both sides undercut and then it fall on top. So I'll let you keep watching and I will stop waffling.
I was thinking about it and I thought, oh, but then I've got to start all over again now. I haven't got to stand on it.
Again, I've just done the exact same thing on the other side. I'm cutting around her super tiny ear. The camera angle isn't great on this side, but I do end up changing it around in a minute. And I'm going to do another section again. So we're undercutting both the sides, knuckles to neck. Can you see my knuckles are still to the neck, but even though they're upside down? It just gets you to remember where you need to hold your fingers and what angle they need to be at. I'm not one for degrees, so I will not teach my students the exact degree. I like to use like food and imagine light switches and stuff are up. So I teach a little bit differently to help my students understand. So if I'm doing layers, I'll tell them to bring it straight up and imagine there's a light bulb above their head and that's taken them straight up to the point that we need. So right now we're copying pretty much the same technique you've done on the back of the neck, okay? We're keeping it super short, knuckles to the neck. I'm going horizontal just to check that my guide is there and everything is nice and even. I'll shut up again. So we are now at the back section, and this is gonna be longer than everything else because we want this to overhang to basically like the picture at the beginning. You have to over direct this to get to where you need to be. Again, you're gonna have guides, so you know that you're following where you need to be. So I'm gonna follow exactly the same way that I've already been cutting and dampen it down a little bit. And then I'm going to make sure I've got nice tension, angling my fingers out slightly because this is where I want to keep some more of that length. See how clear my guide is there? That's where you know you're cutting the right section. So this is going to create that shape at the back of the head. So again, I'm pulling my sections out and making sure I've got a nice, neat guide. And this is giving me that rounded shape at the back of the head. And again, if it's sitting well when it's wet, it means it's going to sit really well when it's dry. See my guide there, nice and clear, and then I'm cutting that straight down. So now I'm brushing the hair into the shape that I need. So I'm taking this top section. So this is going to be your disconnected section. And then you can see the shape that we pretty much need to cut in. So I'm going to spray that hair down. And you'll be able to see the guide that I follow as I cut this in. Just getting a knot out the back because these doll's heads get so knotty. Sorry, I'm literally gonna, on this top section, still follow my guide. See how clear that is? I've just flipped my hand round so I can just follow my guide a little bit better. And again, see how clear my guide is there? That's how you know you're cutting the right shape. And you can see how lovely that shape's sitting. And now, as the hair's falling over, can you see it's already given me a guide? And I'm cutting that down. I'm angling my fingers so I'm creating length on that front section. See me angling that down? So that's going to create that front section. See how that shape's sitting in, even though I can't tuck it behind her ear because she has the tiniest ears in the world. So straight away that shape's starting to sit right. So I'm now going to flick her over to the other side and do the exact same thing on the other side. Remember, my guide's already there from us cutting that back section. And then I'm just angling my fingers down.
just so I can start getting that shape in. So if you see now, I kept one side slightly longer on the side that I angled down, and the side by the ear that we're going to tuck is that little bit shorter. And I'm just literally playing around with the hair just to see where it wants to go, and it didn't want to go anywhere apart from back. So can you see how nice that shape's looking already? So can you see how it's undercut? So we've got the scissor cut on both sides, but she can wear her hair either way.
Oh my god, I thought there was someone in the room. Because there's all these heads lined up.
So now I'm pinching and twisting small sections that I need to, just to create more texture and more shape, especially on that slightly shorter side. And it just helps blend the hair in more. So this is an undercut, shorter haircut, which would be then tucked. And I'm just really softly, you press down quite lightly because it will remove the hair, and this will texturize that side bit too.
Oh, vaguely, yes, vaguely.
Let me teach you short hair part 2. So the first part was the undercut part. So now we're getting rid of the undercut and we're turning it into a normal short haircut. So right now I'm doing uniform layer. Uniform layer means I'm pulling it out from where the hair is all the way around. So I'm following the shape of the head. I'm following my guide, making sure I've got a nice clean guide, and I'm working my way around and doing a uniform layer. So this is going to create nice texture through the top, nice layering, nice shaping. So part one's only just been posted. If you want to see how to cut the bottom at the back, I've done a step-by-step. I've also done a step-by-step on how to do an undercut. So it's cut around the ears and then it's longer on the sides. That's why this doll has longer on the top. So my entire video is free, has free education, sorry. So if you want to have a look on there, that's there. I'm constantly spraying the hair down and I'm following previous sections and making sure, can you see how clean my guide is? If my guide's there, that's how I know to cut it. So already her hair's sitting really well, because obviously we're following it through. It's going to look like layers. So this is a uniform layered haircut at this top section. I'm literally following my guides. I'm taking all that. That was my undercut that we're all cutting off now. But this will be pretty much similar to the haircut I have now, to be honest. I actually have this haircut and then I wear it backwards. So I'm following my section. Always make sure you can see your guide. If you can't see your guide, go back a section. It means you've missed something. Your guide is there for a reason, to make sure that it blends through. So if you can see here, I'm going to pull it up and I'm just making sure my guide is in there. So I'm going to turn the doll's head around and I'm going to keep checking just to make sure I've not missed any corners, and making sure my graduation at the back connects with my uniform layer at the back. So we done in the first video was your graduation, and now we're doing a uniform layer and I'm following that shape all around the head. I'm a really quick worker, so don't judge me. And if you don't cut like this, that's fine. Absolutely fine. People cut different ways. This is the way that works for me. I have short hair. I cut a lot of short hair. I'm also a barber, but I find this was the best way for me. So again, I'm finding my guide. I'm moving it around just so you can see what I'm doing. I want to make sure you can see my guide through there. And again, I'm literally following my sections, making sure I've got my guide in there. And I'm cutting it off. So this is literally a short graduation at the back, uniform layer on the top. I do the top bit a little bit different though. For some reason I started at the front. I'd never normally, but it just felt right on this video, okay? So don't come for me. You can follow from the back, but I just found it easier to cut that top section through the front, which you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about with a little fringe area basically. There's me trying to get the doll's head on. Absolute nightmare. So I'm spraying it down. And I'm going to create a guide through that top section. So if you see now, again, uniform layer, I'm following the shape of the head. I've got my guide, a nice clear guide. See that? See my guide there? Following it through. Again, following my shape, following the shape of the head. Nice clear guide, cutting that hair. Nice, clean, tidy sections. So now, normally I'd go to the back and bring it in, but I think I brought it upwards. I can't actually remember. I'd done this about 2 days ago, so I think I was trying to work out the best way to show you guys. I think it was this way. So look, I brought it up. Can you see my guide straight in the middle? Look at that guide. And then I'm cutting that along and I'm working, again, following the head, uniform layer, all the way around. Connecting my corners, making sure everything matches. She's got some highlights from my students' training on it. I'm just making sure my top now connects to my back section. She's a bit dry. Her hair's a little bit dry. That's why I literally kept dropping it. Oh, that's painful. I apologise that it wasn't that smooth. But yeah, so I'm literally doing uniform layer on the top. And then I'm going to style the hair. So I'll add some music and then you'll be able to see, okay?
Also here, I'm just cross-checking just to see if there's any corners that I've missed. Because basically, if you see any heavy sections, that means there's a corner somewhere. So I'm just checking to see if I've missed any corners anywhere from the way the hair's sitting. If anything's looking a little bit heavy, I'm just checking. See, I've just got a little bit of a corner there that I need to take out. It would take any of the weight out. So I'm just moving the hair about to see the best way that it sits. Obviously, with the doll's head, you get what you get. Like, she is either going to sit well or she's not. And I'm going to just point cut now just to take any weight out, any heaviness. And I'm going to point cut through. You'll be able to see this. And there she is, our little short head number. You can just flick it about, you can tidy it, you can move it around. Obviously, because it's the doll's head, it doesn't want to sit any other way. But I done a uniform layer and then a graduation on the back just for it all to blend in. I hope this helps.